Hi. Hi, I'm back. It's Friday. I am in a beautiful backyard today, and it's kind of nice. It's finally almost summer here in the Midwest. I want to speak today about a coaching session that I did with Joe Hudson, and I just discovered the guy. I'll put a link in the description of him if I remember. But he is this great coach, and he came on the news recently because he's coaching big leaders in at OpenAI, which is a big AI company, the creators of ChatGPT. And I didn't discover him that way. I probably came onto my feed because I do have a lot of content on AI. I build AI products, and I'm building my AI startup. And but if there's something about me that you should know is the fact that I love to combine technology and humanity and see where that fusion goes in life. And so a few years ago, a long time ago, it feels like a decade, but a few years ago, in order to evolve myself and the way I invest in myself is also like maybe, I don't know if unique, but a few years ago, I took this coaching program to become a coach. And then I actually use them mostly at work to coach my teams, to coach my peers, to coach my bosses. So I never actually used it to coach public. But recently, I've been having this realization that I do want to spend more time coaching women specifically. I do believe that the reason why I want to do this is because I have an unhealed wound about womanhood and my womanhood specifically. So here's the way I think about it is there are phases of womanhood. And I think I have another video about the phases of womanhood actually. You should go check it out on my channel. But when I think about the phases of womanhood and all of the ups and the downs, there's literature around that. But I feel like there's not enough literature, not enough documentation, not enough explanations about what are the phases of womanhood. What does it mean when a woman does wants to create a family? How does her role change? What does it mean to become a mother? What does it mean to be a single 20-year-old woman in the world? What does it mean to be a little girl? Then what does it mean to then evolve? Or if you decided not to have a family, then what does it mean to be a woman that does not have kids? And then further than that, like what does it mean to become an older woman and live as a woman in this world? And the reason why I yearn this so much is because my mom, I did not have matriarchal figures in my life that accompanied me through these journeys. Yes, I had support, but there was little to no like lessons around womanhood, the experience of being a woman. And granted, every woman has a different experience. I don't want to generalize, but talking to my closest friends nowadays, which are mostly women, growing up, I had mostly men friends, guys, boys, friends. As I've become older, I've made a lot of women friends. And we talk about our experiences as a woman in this life, as a woman who I have two kids, who I have, my kids have two different dads, who I'm not married. And the exploration of what all that means for me to be a modern single woman and for you to be a woman in this world, the experience of that is not that different from other women. There are patterns and lessons that we can carry and teach each other. There are topics that we explore together. I explore with my closest friend, with my mentors who are women, with my mother, who I've healed my relationship with through this process. And it's been such a beautiful journey of healing that woman inside of me, that little girl that more often than not didn't feel heard, couldn't express herself fully, that was growing up in a male dominated countries, and what that entails for a woman to live in the 21st century and not live in that reality anymore. So that little girl has had to evolve into something completely different. Through this process, I've realized how much my experience with my own mother and not having a grandmother, both of my grandmothers were absent from my life. One because she was unalive, and the other one because they didn't choose to. But the experience of not having mother like figures and growing up with women who struggled a lot has really left some type of wound or impression of me that I've had to heal throughout the years. So, going back to this session with Joe, it was beautiful because the session, the way that the sessions work, and you can attend. There's 3 sessions you can attend the session, but basically people get coached live, and then you observe the coaching, or you can be the coachee. But it brought up so much new realization of how much work still I have to, or I don't have to do it, but how much work, how much more there is to explore to myself, how many beliefs I have that are no longer valid, and how and got awareness around those beliefs. So let me give you an example because I have some notes here. So one of the beliefs that I have that I'm misspelling or getting misspelled is that I want money, but I have to do something in order to have it. I cannot just be and receive wealth and abundance and money. And the way that show up for me and my relationship, and looking at my relationship with my mothers is, and by the way, my father as well, is that my mother always felt like she had to struggle for money. Nobody ever gave her anything. And you had to, do this and do that and be this and be that and fit into the mold in order to get what you want. And the world is against you, so never going to give you anything for free. And so learning that from her and observing that has really left this feeling of value less within me, less value, that I'm not valued enough just as I am. I have to be something to someone or do something for someone or fit into some box, pre-established box. And this has hurt me deeply. I didn't realize how much it has hurt me until I started really feeling the grief of just twisting myself into somebody I was not for all these years just to survive. From the outside perspective, maybe excel even, but inside I felt like I was surviving. I didn't feel like I was excelling. I wasn't fully expressing myself. I always held something back. And not as holding back as in like politeness. No, as in like I cannot show myself. Otherwise, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get fired. Nobody's gonna love me, all this stuff. I realized that really what that comes from is I'm scared. So I want it, but I have to do something for it. And the reason why I need to do something for it is because I'm afraid of losing what I want. And part of the grief process that I'm learning right now is I just have to grieve the fact that I may lose it all and be done with it and do the whole grieving process and cry and yell and be mad and be upset at how it just, that process was for me. It was very painful inside. And I feel the pain, even as I'm speaking right now, I feel that pain. I feel it so deeply. And I want to hug the little girl and tell her everything is going to be okay. Just be you. You can be you and be loved and be happy and be wealthy and be abundant and have everything that you want. Just be you, be you, be you. I keep telling her that. And it's okay to be you, and it's okay to express yourself, and it's okay to be happy and joyous and sad and cry and be upset and be angry and not take from everybody. It's okay to do all of that. I was never held that way. I was always taught like, oh, you're not you. You need to be more pretty. You need to stand up more straight. You need to be more proper and have more manners. Picture perfect all the time. I'm not that person. I'm not picture perfect. I mean, I barely wash my hair, I barely shower. So reconciling and accepting me as I am has been one of those same practices that has really brought me to this new place. So Joe left me with two practices. One is receiving. So practicing receiving every day for 5 minutes and feeling like instead of chasing for something or forcing something or looking for something, which I do all the time. I look for something. I look. I'm searching. Stay more in my feminine energy, what I think is feminine energy, and receive. Feel the receiving. Feel the receiving. Feel like you deserve everything that you want and feel it coming to you. And if it comes to you, it's effortless because it's coming to you. It's coming to your inbox. It's gonna come to the text message. It's gonna come to you in the road, and all you have to do is be there to receive it. That's the second part of the work. You feel the receive, and then you open your eyes and be there to receive it. And in order to be there to receive, you have to be present. To be like, oh, that's mine. Oh, that's mine. That's mine. That's my practice, my current practice. There's a whole other part of this, which is my dad's side, my masculine energy, the ambitious woman that I am, the go-getter, the one that wants to run a business in technology, which by the way is 100% white male dominated, that wants to big money, travel big, have big, and it's not even that big. If I think about it in the grand scheme of things, what do I want to do? I want to retire my mother. I want to buy me a house. I want to, help my brother out with his own business. I want to make sure that my girls can go to college. Like, not even that big. Like, the things that I want are super achievable, super achievable. And yet, sometimes I still believe that by doing what I love, I will never be able to get there. I will never be able to get those things, to achieve those things, because it's not for me. It's for men. And that's my toxic masculinity, right? That's my patriarchal society training. That's where I've always seen the men getting the stuff and the women just taking it from them. Where I want to learn how to get it directly instead of going through a man, necessarily a man, whether it's my spouse, whether it's my dad, whether it's my brother. You know what I mean? Like, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. If that works for you, it just doesn't work for me. So let's speak in the sense of like, if that is not working for you, then maybe you're with me in my journey of like, how do I get it for me? How do I feel self-reliant? How do I can trust myself more and really navigate within my gut to all of those places that I want to do and be and live without this feeling that I need to owe somebody something, or I need to be something to somebody, a sister, a mother, or a wife, or a girlfriend, in order to get what I want. So I want to receive. I want to be in the moment of receiving and not chasing and not looking and not being desperate. And it's so hard. It's so hard when I've been trained for so long to do that other stuff, right? And so that Joe called that reps. The reps are the practice. And the practice, honestly, it's crazy, but the practice is just feel it. Sit with it and feel it. I'm going to close my eyes, sit with it and feel it. That is the beautiful practice. Okay, then there's a more tactical thing that I learned. Wait, let me see. One moment. Okay. Okay. Then this one also mirrors, like, you know how, I don't know if you know this, but in coaching, we say like there's a coin that has two faces, right? So a strength of yours can also be a weakness. Imagine a person who is overly mental, overly brainy. Overthinking is the dark side of the coin, and then like critical thinking perhaps is the bright side, whatever, however you want to call it. It's not good or bad. It's just two sides of the same coin, right? And it's the same tool that it could use for both of those things depending on how you use it. It could produce, more positive action or more outcomes that you wish to have, and or outcomes that you do not wish to have. And I'll leave it to you whether, one or the other works or not. But this other side of the coin, so I have my mother wound, right? And then I have my father's wound in a way, where I've watched my father work himself basically to death because he did die in his business. He had attack. He died of a heart attack at when I was 18, while he was working at his factory. So I witnessed this thing where he like literally worked to death for his business, and I do the same, right? But I also observed something else from him. I also learned, and this is an interesting, because I learned that the business did not give him everything that he wanted back. Meaning, like, he was still working so hard, but it always felt like he never got everything from it back. So I have this relationship with my business and what I'm building, where I'm like, I'm always looking to get that immediate return, because if it's not returning what I expected to do, then it's a toxic relationship. Instead of giving it love freely and not expecting anything back, and watching how that love to that thing can unfold in love for other beautiful things. Not necessarily that thing, but other beautiful things. And so putting all that expectation and pressure on myself and on the business to perform turns it into a shitty endeavor overall. And basically it turns it sour. It turns it like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's not giving back what I want. I don't want to do it anymore. It's like I turn this thing that I'm super excited about, I'm super pumped about, I love to solve problems for humanity, and then flatlines. So this is what happened in reality, I'll tell you. I worked my ass off Q1 from January through April. And then May, I took a month break, literally a month break. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm fine with it. I thought about a few times how I could have been ashamed of that, but I was like, no, this is not the thing. I could have seen how another different past Marina could have been ashamed of that. But the reality is that I needed this break to reevaluate how I was in relationship with that business. Okay. How was I in relationship with that business? I give it, give it, give it, give it, give it. And this happens to all of us. Even in our relationship, think how many relationships, romantic or whatnot, you give, 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 and then you're like empty. And then you complain, you become a victim. You're like, but nobody's giving me anything back. I do all this stuff for all these other people and nobody cares. Nobody gives me love, right? But see, it's nobody else's love to give you love except for you. I'll repeat that. It's nobody else's love to give you love except for you. So the love you give is not the love that you need to receive. The love you give to yourself is the love that you will receive. So as I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the love that you give. I truly believe that I want to come to a place where I give love to it without expecting back, because I love it. Like, I've come to a place where for my kids, I love them so much, I'll give them anything, you know, limits, but I give them and give them, and there's no limit to what I want to give them. Now, whether I have the means or not to give them everything they want is a different story, but honestly, if I had to be fully honest, there would be no limit to what I would give them. No limit. And that's how I want them to think about it too, that they can receive the world just because they're them and they're beautiful human beings. See, this is where the self-talk and the craziness comes in, because my brain just was like, well, that's unrealistic. You receive everything just to be. There's no work involved. There's no doing that you need to do. For as long as we think about love as a transaction, we will never feel truly loved. The most love I've ever received was never transactional. In fact, the most transactionally got, the less love I felt. Think about it. Think about your job. If your job feels very transactional, do you really, really love it? Can you say with deep clarity that you love it? I bet your answer is not, is no. Because there's no care in it. There's not going that above and beyond with it. There is, you give me $1, I give you X hour. And every time you give more than what it's taking or the one is giving, every time you give more than what is giving, you feel cheated, you feel like a victim, you feel unappreciated. Like there's no positive emotions that come out of that. Now think about the last time you took a deep breath. Take a deep breath. You just received so much without being asked to give anything back. If you truly felt it, that's what the experience of love I want. The experience of love that I want is an experience of love that feels so expansive, is so amazing. And I want to feel this experience not only in my personal life, but also in my work life. Why not? Why not? Yeah, because we live in America and it's a capitalist world and blah, blah. You know, we have to start change somewhere, and that somewhere can be here. That somewhere can be very small and can be here. That somewhere can be in your personal relationship with a hobby, that somewhere can start here, because as we plant the seed, it will grow into a tree. So let's forget about the reality that we have right now for 1 second. And let's come back to what we know it's true. What we know as women is true within ourselves. What we know that as women with magical powers, what we know it's true is that abundance is everywhere and that we receive without needing to give.